Hello everybody, and welcome
back
to
Israel
Unleashed.
And how are you again today? And we decided we're gonna talk about titles.
About titles that people want to create to describe themselves.
Exactly. And honestly, sometimes we were talking off screen. We were talking about how sometimes some titles give a negative. They're not so good. But I don't understand sometimes why people need to put a title towards things and stuff. And especially if it's something that it's negative, because you don't want things to be negative in life. You want pretty much everything to be positive.
Yes.
In reality, I think I mean, I think as humans, we want to be more positive towards things and stuff. But you do have people who are negative and they do change things and stuff. But I mean, I think titles sometimes are not such a good thing. I don't like the fact sometimes it bothers me that sometimes people put things. I have to put every little thing like in a box and have a title. Mm-hmm. And it could be a range of topics. I mean, and, we all in reality and in my opinion, we're all human beings. Yeah, we all have different opinions and we all don't believe the same and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, no matter what color, what race, and whatever you are, you still breathe the same air. Your heart beats. The blood goes to the brain. I mean,
you're preparing food for your children.
Yeah.
And tell them their stories before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
I think a person has need to define himself in order to help himself to view towards society and find his special place in it.
Definitely.
But because each of us has a different part of the society, it can ruin for us chances to get united sometimes. Maybe it's given us those cards in order that we can fight against another and argue.
True.
But for the long run, it's disconnect us from one another. It doesn't have a benefit at all.
That's a good point because I agree with that. I mean, there are a lot of topics that mainly disconnect a lot of people because some topics leave a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, you have certain topics that I don't want to say repulse people, but a lot of people strongly disagree with and stuff like that, and it leaves a negative feeling about a lot of things and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I am who I am, and you are who you are, and you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, you're a human being, you're a person, and it doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are, or what sex you are.
Yes.
You're a human.
Yes.
We all bleed the same, we all breathe the same, and it's important. But some of these titles that, today separate a lot of people in society and stuff like that because of either their belief for it or their non-belief for it, and it makes a divide. And I think a divide sometimes is very, as I like to say, unkosher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when it's unkosher, it's not good. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants a divide. When you have a divide, these people are over here and these people are over here, and it's
not good.
There's nothing in the middle. You know what I mean? There's no common ground, and I think it's important to have common ground sometimes. Because when you have common ground, even if you believe or if you don't believe, you have an understanding and accepting, and it's important.
Mostly when it finds you, when you're stuck in the position, when you're with a person that defines himself opposite to you,
right,
and situations makes you by force to negotiate with him, to get support from him or support him, and you understand in this moment that your separation was not good, so and you have no chance but to talk with this person and to share common interests with him, in spite all the definition that you describe yourself and he described himself. And you understand that those definitions, those how you call it, those groups of names, they only distract you. They have no meaning in this situation. And you look at each other, and you have the same thoughts, and you're ashamed of your thoughts that you had before on those this group of people that you thought about, and you say bye to him, and then that's it. You come to your group, and you want to share with your group those things that occur to you, and you don't know where from to begin, because it's like you met an enemy, this enemy helped you. So you understand?
I understand.
Yes.
You know, nowadays it's like, you know, you have social media and stuff like this, and you know, you have people like screaming out about I'm this and I'm, you know, and accept me, and
Yes.
you know,
Do you have a problem with me? What's the
and the
problem?
funny thing, you don't need to scream out. I accept you for who you are. I don't, you know, why should I care? You know, you being who you are,
Yes.
and that's the direction you need to go. That's who you need to be. Who am I to argue with?
That's who you need to be right now.
I mean, I might agree with you or disagree with you and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
you know, everybody at the end of the day, you don't need a title about something. You have a name. Your name's Ellie, my name's Keith, and you know, we're human beings.
We're human beings.
Now, if you have a certain way you do
Yes.
things in life and whatever, that's your way. That's not my way. Why am I to judge you? You know what I mean? I think it's important, but nowadays you have people screaming out towards things, and honestly, you see a division amongst people because of it. The funny thing is that you have people asking questions today, and I think asking questions is very important because in order to get answers, you need to ask questions. That's
Yes.
why I think it's important stuff. Do I think people are doing it the right way? No, I don't. I personally think people need to do it in a better way. Do I have the solution for that? I don't think I do, but I mean, deep down spiritually, I think I have an understanding and a way to lead people and guide people and stuff like that. But you know, scream out and I'm this and I'm that. I mean, I don't see the point in it either. You know what I mean? I don't.
I think when person feel himself not loved by others, as to need to compensate this by screaming and titling. But if we, as a society, will show love to one another and give much attention to other views that has a difference from other and understand them, maybe this person won't need to scream. Maybe we will.
I see a lot of.
We will come down, you know, and
I see a lot of times where people are screaming about things, and it brings in confusion and it brings in complication towards things, and you know, it's an emotion of drama that's
Yes.
an unprecedented level. You know what I mean? And
yes,
you know, honestly, you don't need that.
yes,
I mean, who wants drama? You know, I know I don't. You know what I'm saying? I honestly like to sit down with somebody. You know, you express what you are and how you are, and I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? You don't need to scream at me to get my feelings across. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just realize that sometimes that, like, you know, people come across in such an abrasive way that you resent them. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't really want to resent somebody, but I mean, like, you know, if you're screaming at me in a certain way that I don't like, that you know, I feel, you know, you're forcing me to be resentful towards you. You know what I mean?
trying to force you.
They're trying to force me, and
So-
honestly, I don't like to feel that way. You know what I mean?
But listen, it's like a test for us, not to be dragged to this to the position that we get angry with this person.
True, but
Also-
a lot of times people want to push you in a corner, and then
They want to push you in this
not only
corner.
they want to push you in a corner, they want to combat you, and that's why.
They want to combat you.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not
what.
necessarily to react to
Yeah,
this.
and that's why sometimes I think that people are going through it in such a wrong way. You know what I mean? And
But like you said in the talks before, that maybe they had a bad day, the same day,
Yeah.
right?
you,
Right.
you could be right. I mean, you never know what's going in somebody's head. You know what I mean? Or how they feel. You know what I mean?
And somebody tells me, listen, I hate you because you this and that. What can I tell you? You hate me, and this is mostly your problem, but I understand to the long period of time we should get along because we all share the same world and we all human beings, and I suggest you to have a nice conversation with me, and you have a resentment for me and questions to me, you can ask me, it's okay.
That's true. You know, you said something not too long ago that resonated with me. That, like, you know, you can have a conversation with somebody and you have it on a certain level, then you can get to that person. If you get to a person that you can't get to, then you can't further that conversation. I thought that was a good point because if you want to get through to somebody, you have to speak to them in a certain way, and you have to speak to them with respect. You know what I'm saying? And if you speak with them in respect and with love, then you have a better way of getting in through to them
Yes.
and not combating, but in understanding one another. And understanding, I think, is very important because in order to have the meaning of life, sometimes you need understanding. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you have to, forgive this person for not respecting you from the first place.
Right.
And after that, maybe you will have the chance to talk to him, you know. And this is all test for us. If the respect is so much, it's as a major priority for us. So we're losing the chance to talk with people who resent us.
Right.
And if we forgive them only for some time, not forever, maybe, in order to give them the chance to express themselves, we're opening the window for opportunities to have connection. In spite of our differences, I had many people that I talked to. I talked with Muslims from the starting point when she had resent for me, and I talked to one Christian guy. Also, he had many questions like nature, like he has something is to say against Judaism, and answer them with respect. And truly respect, by the way, not something playful, not something not like an Peter. Understood that they they were given a wrong information about us, and they see the wrong picture. And I understood that this person is going towards me, and this is my chance to influence him, not to hate me, but to understand each other and our special places in the world, and make good connection with this person without becoming his some maybe it's not like we're going to be nearest friends or something, but we are going to evolve to people that understand each other. And when he will also share the same wrong information about my group of people, he will recall about me. He will remembers me and said, "Listen, but I had this this guy Eli. He was okay. So maybe the information that I receive is something that I have to check before I believe it." So this is the way it goes.
Well, understanding, I think, is everything. You know what I mean? I mean, growing up, I realized, my parents never talked about racial differences or who to love and who to hate and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't want to say I grew up in a pure household because I didn't. But I mean, I grew up in a house where we didn't talk about that kind of stuff. So, and it made an impact on me. You know what I mean? I realized that growing up and meeting different people, in order to try to understand them, you ask them questions, or you ask, or you get involved in their kind of life. You know what I mean? Like, say you get together with somebody who's Mexican, for example. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you ask them about their culture and who they are, what they are, whatever they explain it to you, and then you sit down and you eat with them, and then you understand more of their culture, their reality, and who they are, and whatever, and so you have an understanding of that person. So you get more understanding and more acceptance. You know what I mean? And if you understand them, you accept them, and they accept you. God willing. But I learned that in order to understand people, that you need to go out and be a part of them. You know what I mean? Not necessarily be them and totally just be them, because there are groups of people that's what they want. You know what I mean? They want to bring you in, and then you're part of them, and you have to
capture you.
Yeah, they want to capture you, but I don't agree with that and whatever. And I don't see anything wrong with you're going to you're going to be a part of somebody and understand them and stuff like that. Because once you understand somebody, you have nothing but love for them. I mean, obviously there are people you're going to disagree with in life and whatever, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hate that person. You know what I mean? Because when you hate somebody, you're just wasting your time. Honestly, because you're just letting that person get the best of you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're just letting that emotion eat at you, and it destroys you in the end. So the more you understand, the more freer you are. you're free. You have more understanding and more acceptance and more tolerance towards things.
Most of our problems is within ourselves. If you're not blaming anyone for your own problems, you start to handle your problems. And most of us have problems.
True. I mean,
Our
everybody's
own
got
thing.
everybody's got problems.
That's
you know?
right. And blaming,
yeah,
some,
I mean-
blaming some groups for these problems, it's not okay.
I think that's the most stupidest thing you can do.
It's stupid,
I
but
think-
the
I-
most common.
Yeah, it's the most common thing. It's everybody's looking for somebody to blame, but you know, at the end of the day, they don't blame themselves because that's who you should blame. You're part of the problem, not the solution. You know what I mean?
To blame is also, to blame yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
It's also something you have to know how to handle.
yeah.
If you blame yourself too much, you may commit suicide.
Yeah,
So easy with that.
it's true.
Let's go step by step.
Step
okay?
by step, baby
Okay,
steps
so,
before walking. Yeah.
yes.
No, but like like sometimes I read online and I constantly hear people who just hate Jews, man. You know what I mean? And it bothers me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, yeah, I'm Jewish and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to say I take it personally, but I mean, like, I don't know no banks. I'm not in charge of the media, and like, I'm not out to destroy lives, and I'm not money hungry. I mean, like,
Understand.
these are people who are taking a whole group of people and putting them like in one stereotype and going with it. And I'm like, I'm not even any of that. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to say it. I mean, I don't try to let it bother me, but I just, words are powerful. You know what I'm saying? When you get powerful words, and people they hit you like arrows. You know what I mean?
Listen,
And when they stick in you, they affect you. You know what I'm saying?
maybe some people not deserve this chance to understand that the Jews are not the problem.
No.
Because I know
I mean,
several
they're-
non-Jews were actually in good relationship with me, and still they think bad things about Jews.
yeah, okay.
And I look at them and I asking myself, wait a minute, they know me so long. What is wrong with them? But still, every person has problems, and I cannot handle this problem. I only can give him an example of a good Jew that I'm trying to be, not in order. No, I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing this for myself. But maybe it's a process, and we have to be patient,
It could be. I don't know. I mean, that's why I say sometimes people to put titles on things, and sometimes they're positive, and sometimes they're negative. But
mostly negative.
sometimes that negative turns into
it's-
such hate. You know what I mean?
If it's positive, it doesn't have to be with titles.
No, you're
I
right.
understand.
But like sometimes when people put such negative something on it, it can turn into something more hateful and more powerful than you can imagine. And we've seen it all through history. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you do realize that people can change like that. 1 minute they can be cool, and next minute they do like a 180. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like there are people who are waiting for the chance to explode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you trigger them by saying some words and some ideas.
Or you get people come up to like a protest and stuff, and you have one person coming with anger, another person coming with anger, and it just takes that one person to guide the whole group, like an army into battle. You know what I mean? And have destruction. You know what I mean?
That's a mistake.
I mean, like recently, you seen like in America, like during the last summer,
Before.
you've seen people
Clashes
because of
to
the
one
things that were going on over there. That you've seen that people were burning down cities, people were attacking people, and I mean, it was.
Well, what do you
they
think
put
about
it-
this subject?
People extorted the title, and only did they extort it, they got people to do violence from it. You know what I mean? And
Violence is wrong.
and because of that, you have division. You know what I mean? And look what it's turned into. It's festered into something so bad and not good. And the question is, how do we come back from that? You know what I mean? How do you fix something that
Well,
that
let's,
somebody carried in such a way that look where we're at now? You know what I mean?
I think no human beings deserve to be killed by a policeman.
I agree.
Okay.
You know, I mean, to watch somebody get killed on the
That's
news.
one thing. That's
Yeah,
one
but
thing.
to watch somebody get killed on the news and stuff like that in such a way, I mean, obviously, you see it in the news. They say it over and over and over, and
I
you're
think-
gonna have a reaction from it. You know what I mean? And another,
Well-
and if you see something, it's not going to be a good reaction. You know what I mean? You're going to be angry, and sometimes anger boils over into such a hateful thing. But it's important-
towards who you are angry.
Yes.
Towards people like me, like
funny, yeah, you're right. Who are these people angry at? Now I see that they're blaming a group of people and then going, you know, like
you have people who are white that makes family with black people, you know, and the opposite, and it's all fine. And when you have group of people who hate each other, it's wrong. So what can I say? When you have people from the group of black people who teaches their children to hate white people, is wrong, and the opposite, that the white parents who teach their white children to hate black people, it's insanity.
yeah, you know, it's funny. I read a news article about how, like, you know, they were doing like studying in DNA and stuff like that, and they interviewed, like, you know, maybe we'll say 500 people as an example. They interviewed 500 people from all different kinds of races, religions, and people and cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question they asked was, off the top of your head, like, you know, who do you hate? You know, like, you know, if you had
What group of society you hate?
yeah. And during the DNA test and stuff like that, they found that the person that they pretty much hate, they have a part of them, and they have a part of that culture in them. Because you realize that over history, people have conquered one another, and societies have fallen, societies have risen, and stuff like that. And you know, I mean, there's no, like, you know, there's no such thing as some pure race, and wherever people got that from, it's ridiculous. But I mean, it's a scientific proven fact that if you combine races and stuff like that, your DNA is a lot stronger. You know what I mean? But
Listen, you are right that we all mixed, mostly
we're all
mixed
mixed.
up.
I mean, you can check,
somehow.
like, they managed to check in the DNA thing about 50 generations back. They've managed to get to that point.
But
And people got like all sorts of mixes of races, religion, and all sorts of things. I mean, I know people who've taken DNA tests and in generations back they have black in their family. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They have German, Hungarian, and
But let's say-
Yemenite and all sorts of stuff. You know what I
But
mean?
let's say those groups aren't mixed. Let's say it like that.
True, but
They
I
are
mean,
all clear.
we've gone through-
Let's say
We've gone through enough time that it's impossible to say there's one guy who's just all, you know, he hasn't been touched or unblemished by any race. You know what I mean?
But the fact that we are mixed,
We're all mixed.
it's not
you know
an
what I'm saying?
excuse. It's not a reason not to hate. If we weren't mixed, let's
Sure,
say
but
it like
hate's a part of us. You know what I'm saying? It's an emotion.
it's optional emotion.
It's not. It's an
We
optional
can
emotion.
choose it.
You can choose it.
It's the part of us who cannot handle the you know the hard things. We cannot accept hard things, and we choose to hate. It's something like it's our weakness. You understand?
Yeah. Well, you know, I read also another story about, like, some years back about he was like a politician in the Hungarian government or something like that.
Okay.
A very right-wing party, and he was the head of it, and they hated Jews. And the guy did a DNA test and
Discovered he's a Jew.
Discovered he's a Jew, but not only is he a Jew, his grandmother's a Holocaust survivor.
Okay.
And the funny thing is that, like, that changed his whole perspective about you know about who he hates and whatever. He ended up embracing Judaism and became religious.
Well,
and basically changed the way, you know, he changed.
It's nice to hear, but I wanted.
You
to
got
tell
many. You got many stories like this. You know what I mean?
You have many stories like that, but the more wiser is when you don't reveal the fact that you are connected to Jews or connected to the group that you hate. The more wiser when you stay in the position where you are in this clear group from all the mixture, and you choose not to hate, you choose to love, you choose to accept, you choose to, you know, make a family with this person. This is the more wiser, choice. We the Jews were obligated not to marry non-Jews. It's something else. Many people may see it as a racism, but it's not true, because God told us those things. When the minute God decides to tell those things, we are obligated to His word. But it has nothing to do with the racism in the world. When people choose to hate each other on differences between the races, it's all wrong. So don't take us as an excuse to hatred.
No, but you have like many groups of people that are like, it's like the Druze. You have like, they used to marry English people when they came during the mandate and stuff like that.
If you say it to Druze, they don't accept this.
No, I know, but they almost like completely like lost it. So
Listen.
they closed their religion and actually said that you can't marry outside and stuff like that to keep their faith. But they're not the only people like that. You have Muslims that are like that, and you have all sorts of other groups of people that are like that
When
too.
I'm not sure about those things, I'm not fast to believe in, but
Right.
listen, maybe not, but I want to tell you something. If the religion doesn't obligate you to marry your own people, you are not allowed to discriminate someone, okay? And the thing is, we as a Jews, we only have this obligation not to marry another people, but it's not coming from a racism idea. It's coming from the obligation to our God only, and we respect all the others, and we talk to all the others, and we grant for you as a humanity to express patience to one another, and not to drag yourself into violence whatsoever. Never, by any excuse. Even if the government pulls you to those corners, not to do this. Keep on thinking about yourselves. You're all children of God. You are deserve to one another, and this is the real wise choice that you can do this life.
You have from the Bible itself. You have, from Judaism, you have democracy, equality, and freedom and stuff like that. And this is what they teach in the Torah.
You sure?
Yeah.
About democracy?
You get democracy from fucking the Torah, man. You have, we've been pretty much democratic people, liberal kind of people since the beginning of time.
You mean we are liberal?
To a point, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of Jews come up with, have come up
Because democracy is actually a Greek idea,
that too. But who do you think they got it from?
The Greek got it from Jews.
They
Okay.
managed to put it like in a thinking term and logically and put it forth. But we actually the ones that came up with this.
Okay.
They,
okay.
when you interact with a group of people and stuff like that, you get things from those people. You know what I'm saying? And you take from those people too. So, your culture to a point has changed when you do this. You know what I mean? Logically, your culture changes from what you take and what you give. You know what I'm saying?
You want to say that all societies are evolving with each other from the influence from other nations they receive? Okay, maybe. Tell you the truth. I didn't see examples from democracy inside of Jewish people back those days. So maybe I don't agree with you, but we can discuss it.
That's true.
On some show.
You do have the Greeks, as you say, they put a form of democracy and stuff like that. And
democracy is supposed to be.
And then the Romans
something
came along, and the Romans, spearheaded that, and then they made a whole different, what kind of life you see today in a way. You know what I'm saying? We're not much different than the Romans are. How we are, government-wise, not us in Israel, but in the world, how the world handles itself. We pretty much have taken that form of how society is and government is till today. You know what I mean? If you really look at it.
Maybe I should check on it. I should see
You
how
should
it
believe
will
everything
work.
I say. I never lie. No, I'm just joking. But I'm just saying that, like, if you like, if you follow sometimes the history and how things are and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like you see that, like, some forms of life and how we are, and it hasn't really changed in thousands of years. We're still we might have evolved in technology and how we take care of ourselves and our health and how much longer we live and whatever. But I mean, in reality, some like casts of life hasn't changed since then. And it's still like,
I agree.
it's still kind of like the same form as it was back then. You know what I mean?
I think that when God looks at us, it doesn't notice the technology, that evolved the fears, only seeing our deeds to one another. And if we are exact like the same way we behaved 2,000 years ago, we're in a problem.
How we know we don't act like that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was.
We can know.
I mean, I might have been around 2,000 years ago,
We
but
see
in a whole other life. You know
we
what I
see
mean? It's
ourselves as a
possibility.
superior from other generations.
That's true.
But actually, we are no different, if not worse. Like,
Look, I mean, you get sometimes of people they look back in the history and like thousands and thousands of years, and they look at people as simple and possibly stupid and stuff like that. But honestly, you see a lot of those people were a lot more advanced than you and me even are today. You know what I mean?
I'm sure of that.
They had a whole different
I'm
life and a whole
sure
way
of
of
that.
technology of their own that
I'm
made
sure
them
of
a
that.
lot more different they are. Now, if we got together today and then them got together with us now, we'd be talking on two different planets. You know? What I mean?
Yes, yes.
And it'd be a whole different, whole different title, as they say. You know what I mean? But would they understand you? And would you understand them? You know what I mean?
I think they didn't have this mental problem that we have, and their choices they got were more wiser from the beginning. I want to see ourselves like less cruel than them, but I cannot check it. We hear stories about those cruel deaths that they did to one another, and
You do see that and stuff like that. But the thing
you
about
see it on TV.
you
Mostly.
see that nowadays, you see it on TV and the way we, how we, we love action and we love. And this is how how we are and what we become. But I mean, like, you look at the Romans in the Colosseum and how they put people to death and had gladiators slaughter people. I mean, it almost is the same. I mean, what kind of level is it? Is it more? Is it less? It's hard to say.
But wait a minute. Today we give food to cats and dogs. We're different, no? We
That's
take
true.
care of our older people, no?
True.
We have this wheelchair and all, and maybe we evolved, maybe. But
We've definitely evolved. The question is how much have we evolved?
I don't think we evolved enough.
I don't think we've evolved enough either. I don't think we've reached our potential as what we need to be. I mean,
But we are our way.
but I mean, how do you need to be? How do you need to be where you need to be is totally up to you. You know what I mean? Really, not really as a society as a whole. You know what I mean? But
I think the internet helps us to share ideas with people we wouldn't met in our life, especially today, when all the planes are shut off and for the last year and a half.
someone posted something interesting, like I don't know, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It's not important, but the information and the knowledge is there. The question is how we're perceiving it. I think is what's important. You know what I mean? I mean, the internet and the computer, and the computer's working faster than your brains are working,
Okay.
and it's like basically built to work faster than how you continually think anyway. The information is there. The question, you can't really take it all in. You know what I'm saying? Because your brain has only so much of a capacity. But the information's there. It depends on how you perceive it. You know what I mean, and how you receive it too. That helps you develop into what you need to evolve into, because I don't think any of us know what we're actually capable of doing. You know what I mean? I mean, we talk about superpowers and stuff like that, but I mean, honestly, you meet people sometimes who have certain powers to see things into the future, or they have they can lift things
Listen,
other people
you
can't.
saw,
You know
you
what I mean?
saw a Star Trek series, right?
Of course. Doctor,
Because
Spock.
what I noticed in this series, all nations work together there.
But you realize,
Maybe it's a key to another technologies.
The funny thing, you bring that up but you realize how they got to that point. Society had to destroy itself in order to get to that point because they realized logically,
Okay,
in order for them to continue as human beings, they can't be that what they used to be.
okay.
And that's how you get to that point where, they didn't have any money, and they all worked together and they accepted everybody. I mean, that was actually a groundbreaking show. I mean, because I think that was Gene Roddenberry, the guy who invented that. That was his vision. Basically thinking like you and me think, to bring everybody into the fold and everyone comes together and basically having love. You know what I'm saying? And love will conquer all. But if we don't go that way, and then there's a total destruction of society and hatred and death of all, then what do we have next? What have we evolved into? You know what I mean?
We have everything to lose.
Yeah, more than we think. I mean, I don't think people even realize how much we have more to lose than anything. You know, I mean, nowadays we're making technology that's like that can destroy whole cities and kill all sorts of fucking people, man. And I mean,
What's so good about that?
It's nothing's good about it. I mean,
Proves nothing.
It just shows what kind of country's got different balls than another. You know what I mean? I'm more powerful than you, but I mean, really, would you actually say only a madman would use that on people? You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
two kids fighting whose toys is better and willing to kill each other. For it.
You have two leaders that kind of can't stand each other and they hate each other, and one hits a city of missiles. It's like lumping stereotype and hatred all in one shot, and it's all those people to blame, but you wiped out those fucking people. You know what I mean? And it's almost the same kind of title as in a way, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the purpose? You know what I mean? How many innocent people that you don't even know have you just killed, you know what I mean? And it's something, it's food for thought, man, you know what I mean? It's something pretty deep, you know what I mean? Because the only way we can get together and love one another is we all come together as one. And I keep repeating this over and over, and I don't know how many times I can actually say this, but
As much as you can.
would you rather love somebody and move forward in life, or would you rather destruct somebody and that be the end of it? You know
Until
what
the
I mean?
minute they're taking the camera from us,
Yeah,
continue to say those things.
exactly. I can't even remotely express how we can put this across even more and more. I mean, it's important, you know what I mean?
Don't worry.
I'm not worried.
Our
I got
words,
time and patience, but
Our words will reach the people that guide will decide to whom to give it. That's all.
that's true. And I also think that sometimes you're watching the news and they only show, there's nothing positive whatsoever in the news. I mean, yeah, they want to show one fucking story about something stupid and be like, oh, look how cute and whatever, but 99% of the stories that they show are nothing but negative,
If
hatred, wanting to divide
if a
people.
person understands
Yeah.
that the media is working for people that want to tell us how to feel to one another, they're not showing us the reality. They want to get this reality done by separating us and to making us hate each other. So if people understand it, he has the tools to receive the news and not to become something evil from that.
True. Like I did mention in the past videos that you have had some people in history, man, they were so hatred and so evil that they actually thought they were doing something good. and
Well,
and,
like I
and the
told you.
world had to come together to destroy them, but I mean,
Part of the sickness
but you have
is not to know that
people
you're sick.
you have people who think that they're doing good when they're really doing bad, you know what I mean? Sometimes people don't know if it's day or night, you know what I mean? And that's dangerous.
Well, if people are truly evil, God knows how to handle them.
Yeah,
But we, you and me,
Yeah.
are working on a normal people that has the opportunity to improve themselves and us, and we can work together. We are not working with people who are honestly evil till the end. We don't have the tools to work with them. But people that we have tools to work with them, we are working. So
that's true. Sometimes it's like when you
the
when you
kindness
see
will prevail. Don't worry.
when you see things with your eyes, you perceive it how you want it to influence you. You know what I mean? And like a lot of times you see, like, you know, if you ask me, I think you should go home and throw away your fucking TV, man, because your TV is
But if you throw
it's giving you images that you're perceiving that can change your perception about how you want to view things. There is good and evil in all of us.
yes.
I mean, you know, you're human. You know, like I keep saying, you have evil in you. Just choose if you want to. You have two paths you can go by. You want to be good or you want to be evil. You know what I mean? And you know, making a choice and having a stand for yourself and being who you want to be I think is important. You know what I mean? Your title don't mean shit. Personally, if you're going to be what you need to be that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Now, it depends on you as an individual which road you're going to go down. But
I agree.
me personally, I'd rather go down the right road because I think there's rewards and blessings at the end of it.
You prefer to have a wrong title and right choices.
Yeah. I personally don't think I have any title, man. I don't want to have any title. I'm Keith.
I keep.
You know me by my name, and that's it. You know what I mean? I don't need to be like, I don't need to have Jew written over my forehead. I mean, if I want to talk about Judaism with you, I enlighten you about my religion and my beliefs and who we are as a people and what we've gone through and where we're going to and how we're going to get there. You know what I mean? I'm going to enlighten you. But there is no title over my head saying this is who I am or what I am. You know, and I don't want to be known by that. I have a name. I want to be known by my name. Like everybody else deserves to be called by their own name because I think a title's crap.
Strong name. Strong things.
You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why God gave you a name, man. He didn't give you a title, he gave you a name. And a name clarifies who you are and who you're going to be in life. And I think that's important. Because that's who you are, that's your character.
Strong words from a decent man.
So hopefully you can give us some thought about this, but hopefully we can see you on the next video, and hopefully we can continue giving the love, and hopefully you feel it, and hopefully you have a blessed day.
Thank you for seeing us on our episode from Israel Unleashed. Wish you all the best. Sincerely yours, Keith and Ellie, Israel Unleashed.